Hello everyone, Video James here, a little bit sick today. Couldn't get my prediction video out yesterday, my reactionary video. Just wanted to point out, very exciting, week in terms of the Copa America. This video is about the Copa America, by the way. Now we are post round 2. We should be starting up the last round 3 for all of Group A, which will feature Venezuela. It shall feature Venezuela against Ecuador and Peru against Brazil. This group in particular has been very impressive in terms of the results we've been seeing. If you watched my original Copa America video, I kind of, assumed, we're probably going to see Peru coming second, Brazil first, Ecuador third. I'm starting to believe that since Venezuela's next game is against Bolivia. If I said Ecuador, I apologize. I meant to say Bolivia. But their last game against Bolivia, they've got a pretty good shot at winning, considering they are going to be playing against the lowest ranked team in the tournament, Bolivia. Meanwhile, Peru are facing Brazil, who, despite a 0-0 draw against Venezuela, may have to settle for third place unless they're lucky enough to get a draw. But that's not a bad thing as far as this tournament has been going, because Peru has 4 points right now after experiencing a draw with Venezuela and a win over Bolivia. So even if Venezuela beats Bolivia and Peru loses to Brazil, it is statistically very unlikely for Peru to get knocked out of the group stages, especially considering, I believe it was in round 1, they played against No, it was in round 2 then. In round 2, they got a +2 goal differential when they played Bolivia 3-1. So they're in a pretty spot. But that group is not the dramatic group. Really, we're trying to see who's going to come in second. As you know, in my previous Copa America video, I changed my opinion from Peru coming in second to Venezuela coming in second. As soon as I saw the draw against Peru, I just said it seems the Venezuelan team just have everything going for them now. And they did, especially after that 0-0 draw against Brazil, which brought them up to 2 points, and now they face a fairly easy opponent. I wouldn't say easy. Bolivia is still a good team. They still could surprise us, but chances are they have what it takes to beat Bolivia. But you guys are interested in Group B and Group C, I'm sure, because that's where all the drama is going on right now. And of course, me being the big Qatari football advocate, you're going to see that crazy prediction coming out again. I thought Qatar were going to lose 2-0, maybe 3-0. I know Persian also predicted a 3-0 loss for Qatar, and I was very surprised from the Colombia-Qatar game. I watched that game in full. I didn't miss a minute of it. I just wanted to... a lot of people are saying that that was a great game coming out of Qatar. To me, that game reminded me a lot of the Iceland-Argentina game from the World Cup. To me, that game was not really impressive, more just a slog and a really tight defense. But I don't know. I just thought it was a bit strange when watching that match that everybody... Well, I was impressed because Falcao and Rodriguez could not come through until the 86th minute when Rodriguez... he passed an assist over to Well, he passed an assist over to Zapata, and managed a terrific header. Some people were saying that it was offsides and VAR should have been used. Sure, I guess, but at the end of the day, that to me was a too close to call goal. I would have given it to Colombia too had I been the line ref. Interestingly enough, 4 yellow cards for Qatar, 1 yellow card for Colombia. You'd usually think that Colombia would get a lot more yellow cards, but funnily enough, Colombia's yellow card came at the same time as Roro's, Pedro Miguel Correa. So apparently, I think it was, I'm pretty sure Roro had kicked out James Rodriguez. What happened was, he got James Rodriguez down from behind. I believe he was trying to kick out the ball. Maybe he was kicking out the calves. But regardless, what happened was Roro started yelling at James Rodriguez after knocking him down. Don't know what it was about. Of course, we can't hear him. And then Uribe came in and started shoving him and trying to say, hey, step up or back off, or if you want to fight him, you have to go through me. I don't know what was being said, but both of them were carded for that. But I was seeing a lot of weird calls. They substituting Boudiaf for Hatem during the 66th minute, okay, that's a pretty normal substitution that's made during the second half by the Qatari national team. But a guy that I rarely see, as in I haven't seen him play, Duzanda, number 12, subbed out for Al Haidos during the 84th minute. And then 2 minutes later, of course, Colombia scores a goal, which I thought was odd. I mean, it's one thing to substitute your captain, but to substitute him for someone we don't know, especially for a guy that just really didn't have a good start. Qatar were playing the injuries game. They were trying to get fouls called, and it just so happened that more fouls were being called for them. Akram Afif at one point had been being really fancy going for that ball during the 83rd minute, and I don't know, I don't think he deserved a yellow card for, trying his hardest to get somewhere. But if I were to go up to Felix Sanchez right now and say, you need to make a change, I think it's Abdelkarim Hassan. He's making wonderful runs, but something's going on. He has been missing very open goal shots constantly. And there were so many chances for Qatar to equalize, especially in the end. There were some really good shots. There are also some moments for Qatar to get a lead, and Abdelkarim Hassan just couldn't deliver. We didn't see a lot from Almoez Ali during this game. It was very odd. Meanwhile, James Rodriguez, you could tell at the beginning of the game, he was making some very good shots, especially during the first 20 minutes of the first half. And every time he missed, he'd go back smiling it's whatever, I just missed. But then as the game wore on, he was like, oh my God, we might give them a point. They might pick a point off of us. So that was very entertaining. But I have to say the game ended with a 3-5-1-1 for Qatar. And I thought it was that was new. It was a little bit more aggressive, I guess, than beforehand. But I was not a fan of the performance by Qatar's defense, which sounds odd considering how long they're able to hold them off. But what I'm trying to say is that one of the main reasons why Colombia could not score, Saad al-Shib. Despite being a goalie, despite being a part of the losing team, probably should have gotten man of the match for that performance where oh my God, there were so many shots on target. There were so many shots coming towards him, and he blocked them. He caught them. That was amazing goalkeeping to me. But otherwise, I was not impressed by the Qatari national team this game. I was impressed by the result, absolutely. And I don't think that was any fault of Colombia's. I think Colombia played their hardest out there. It's just Qatar managed to defend really well, and Saad al-Shib was really on point. Even though I'm saying that Saad al-Shib, the rest of the defense, wasn't doing that well. The rest of round 2, a bit interesting. So, of course, we saw Argentina draw with Paraguay 1-1, which means Paraguay is in second with 2 points, and Argentina is in last with 1 point because they have a -2 goal differential to Qatar's -1, since they only have 1 point as well. This is very bad for Argentina. We've been getting a lot of negative commentary. Messi on news outlets has been saying he's freaking out, like he doesn't know, like he's confident that he can beat Qatar, but this might be a disaster for the Argentinian national team, and even then they're not guaranteed to move on if Paraguay win their game, and then it's a rough year for Argentina. It's a rough couple years for Argentina. But I've been saying constantly that Messi is an excellent player. He is the talisman of the Argentinian national team. He's the talisman of FC Barcelona, but he cannot be the focus of the team. It's a problem with a lot of these talisman teams that they focus their tactics around their main player, and they hope, oh, this is going to net us a win because we're focusing on a guy that's extremely talented. Well, if we did that, the Netherlands would have won the World Cup 3 times with Johan Cruyff and Dennis Bergkamp and what have you. Egypt would have won at all of their group stage matches with Mohamed Salah in the last World Cup. But no, focusing on a talisman, I don't know what this obsession is by national team coaches to focus on talisman players, because at the end of the day, if you don't base your tactics around your whole team, the rest of the team suffers for it, because one, they're probably just going, oh, what the hell, why do we have to, always play for this guy, like this one player on our team, which sometimes happens. That happened with Argentina multiple times when Messi was first making some amazing plays for the national team. But also, it really lends to the defense falling apart. It leads to the rest of the offense falling apart, because, to put in perspective, half the goals that were scored by Qatar this Copa America were not scored by Almoez Ali. They were scored by someone else. Granted, they only scored 2 goals, and you'd expect more goals to come out of this prolific striker from the Asian Cup, but we haven't seen it. And Qatar does well because they don't focus on Almoez. Colombia does well because they don't focus on James Rodriguez and Falcao. Or Zapata, who's a rising star now. Uruguay does so well because they don't just focus on Suarez and Cavani. And right now, Brazil is topping their group because despite not having Neymar, they still have a lot of talent that they can focus on their entire team with it, and not just one talisman player. He's not Pele. This isn't the year where Pele, even when Pele first won the World Cup, most people will tell you that it wasn't Pele that won the cup for the team. It was Garrincha and Zico, and having that trio, Pele, Garrincha, and Zico, along with the rest of the team, that helped a lot, but they didn't get there with Pele. They made it with Pele at the end. We can't just keep treating Messi like he's a god. The same way you can't treat Ronaldo like he's a god. You can't treat Mohamed Salah like he's a god. And I really honestly do think that after almost losing a game against Paraguay during the second round, because let's keep in mind, Argentina were behind until the second half, and then they scored on a penalty with Messi, but one, that's Messi scoring on a penalty, and two, they were trailing. They were scared. Even, I'm not a fan of Maradona as far as his post-footballing life goes, nor his commentary. I was definitely not a fan of his coaching. But he was trying to dig into Argentina by saying, Tonga could beat us. We're awful right now. And right now, a lot of Argentinians are thinking the same way. They're like, Maradona's right. Like, maybe not that extreme, but we're playing poorly. We've scored one goal this whole tournament, and it was against Paraguay for a draw. And right now, they're behind Qatar. And if Qatar gets a draw, Qatar could very well just head off into the knockout stages and Argentina get eliminated in the group stage. Wouldn't that be a shocker? And wouldn't that be something I predicted from my first video? I still think, especially with how poorly Argentina's been doing, Qatar is on its way to the knockout stages, and Argentina not so much. Unless Colombia trounces Paraguay, or Colombia goes easy on Paraguay because they don't have to play to advance because they're already in first place. Maybe that could lead to Paraguay getting a win, and then neither Argentina or Qatar will advance. Who knows? But right now, I fancy Qatar's chances. Football Pharaoh on his stream even said to me, yeah, yes and no. I do and do not fancy Qatar's chances against Argentina. That's just it's a crummy situation. It's a crummy situation that Argentina's in, and it's not something that, I think any South American would ever say, oh, well, this is exciting. No, I was watching a live stream of Chileans who were saying, oh my God, Colombia, please score a goal against please score a goal against Qatar, and cheering, because they don't want Qatar to move on. They want Argentina, they want Paraguay, they want Colombia, but they don't want this out. The same goes for Japan. They don't want outside national teams, aside from other American teams like Mexico, maybe the United States, maybe Costa Rica, doing well at their tournament. But regardless, yesterday when I was sick, we had the closing of round 2 through Group C. It's really odd. A lot of people are making their videos before most of the Group C action starts, probably because we saw what was coming a mile away. But I was not expecting Uruguay drawing with Japan 2-2. That puts Japan in third with a point. And Chile beat Ecuador 2-1, which is a bit odd. So maybe we could see, because Chile beat Japan 4-0 during the first round, and Uruguay beat Ecuador 4-0 during the first round. So, despite Japan being full of this very new team, very few veteran players for the national team, we could be seeing Japan finding a new squad. We could be seeing Ecuador surprising everyone and knocking out Japan. We really don't know what's happening there. The same with Chile and Uruguay. Originally, we thought of them as, Chile is the fallen king almost. They'll advance to the group stages or knockout stages, but we'll get knocked out in the round of 8. Meanwhile, Uruguay are the favorites to win. Now Chile is top of the group. Uruguay has 4 points. Chile with 6. Any result can happen here, and we could see Chile move on into the into the semifinals, if they maintain their first spot lead. In which case, maybe we underestimated them, but I'm still not going to say they're my favorites. At the same time, we could see a third place group from this group advance rather than from the second group, Group B. It's all a matter of timing, really. Can Japan or Ecuador triumph over each other? We have yet to see that. And if either result happens, and in Group B, neither team wins a game, Group B is going to be it's always been the group of death. This was the hardest group for any team going in. Qatar would have fared much better in Group A or Group C, but they're in Group B getting pounced on. Well, not pounced on by some of the best teams in South America consistently, not the best of the best, but really good ones. So we really don't know what's going to happen. I'm still sticking to my guns and saying Qatar is going to come in second. I have no confidence in Argentina, and I'm pretty sure despite Colombia knowing, we can advance, we can play it easy, they're going to want to get as much of as big a result as possible. They want to go undefeated throughout this whole tournament, I hope. And I think because of that, Qatar, through a draw or through a win, will advance into the second place spot. I just have no confidence in Argentina, and I think any viewer here is going to look at me and say, I don't want to agree with you, I don't want to believe you, but from what we've been seeing, this is a desperate moment for Argentina. It's just like the World Cup. But in this case, they might actually not be able to make it through. They got lucky with Nigeria. Sorry for the buzzing. Sorry, I got a text from an important person. But with that, that's going to be my final prediction for the group stages, which means I kind of have to redo something real quick. So I'm going to look at the brackets and give you my new knockout stage predictions if round 3 works out the way I think it's going to work. So we would be having the runner-up of Group C facing Colombia. I do still think the runner-up is going to be Chile. I don't think I'm going to be wrong there. And from what I've seen, I do still think Colombia is going to take them out and go to the semifinals. If Chile beats Uruguay or draws against Uruguay, it'll be a different story. The winner of Group C, the runner-up of Group A and the runner-up of Group B. Runner-up of Group A for me is Venezuela. Runner-up of Group B is Qatar. And Venezuela is impressive. It's just not offensively impressive to me right now. I'd give it to Qatar to go to the semifinals. Winner of Group A, that's Brazil. Runner-up of Group C. I'm actually going to say Japan. Japan just has a better shot of it right now. I will say Brazil have it. They're going to take down Japan and move on to the semifinals to face Qatar. And then to face Colombia in the semifinals, we have the winner of Group C, which is Uruguay, going up against the third place group of Group A, which would be Peru. And I see Uruguay coming through a very tight game into the semifinals. My new semifinals bracket will have Brazil beating Qatar going to the finals, and Colombia beating Uruguay going into the finals. Originally, I had Uruguay going into the finals, barely losing to Brazil. Now, with what I've seen from Colombia, I think they've got what it takes to go into the finals. And then for the third place playoff, very obvious, Uruguay third, Qatar's fourth. But the final match, to me, it's tough. If Neymar comes back in, maybe Brazil could make it a less tight of a game, but I think probably this year it's going to be Colombia. I do think it's going to be Colombia. This is, after all the results I've been seeing from this group stage. I think Colombia has what it takes to come out on top. Brazil, not so much. So we'll see what happens. But I have to go to attend to personal business, and I need to drink some more tea and some honey for my throat. So without further ado, thank you for watching my Copa America post-round 2 reactions, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.